You are playing scrims wrong. We all know scrim games as this realistic endgame practice, but what if I told you you're the reason it's not actually realistic? And you're probably grinding scrims every single day and wondering why you're not getting good at endgame or even a pro. Well, isn't it obvious? You're actually playing them wrong. It doesn't matter how many scrim games you play, but if you're playing them wrong, you will struggle to improve. There are two ways to play scrim games, the way I'm going to teach you and the way you probably play it. You either play them with strict goal and take away things from every scrim game, or just go into it queuing up hoping to win. Now it's your choice to own up and say, what do you actually do? Do you queue up and hope to get the win, or do you queue up with an actual goal and something to work on and actually try to improve? Well, today I'm going through why you're playing scrims wrong, as well as the correct way you should be playing them. Taking a leaf out of Setty's book, one of the best endgame players in the world, as well as the FNCS Invitational Finals champion, winning 4 out of his 12 games. I'm going to start off with the scrim server you're in. Now, it does not matter what server you're in. The better the server you're in, though, the better experience practice you're going to get. But if you're EU, just make sure you're at least playing in Noble Open scrims. I'm not too sure the best scrim servers for NA East or any other servers, but make sure you're playing in a server that is good and not a giant grief fest, like Elite Customs or EU Opens. There should be active surge on each zone, especially with the surge changes that happened. If you have people just griefing you mid-game, then you're obviously in a bad server and you should try and find one better. Moving over to how you're playing them wrong. Let's start off with the goal. Everyone has the goal of trying to win the game, right? Yes, of course, we want to win the game, but when you're playing scrims, you probably loot your drop spot, maybe fight some guy till 80 players are alive, then you rotate the zone. Maybe you land shiny, loot it up, go grim, rotate to Coney, then go through tilted and finish off going to reality tree for the final zone. Now, when we look at this from a tournament perspective, are you realistically going to be able to do that rotate without dying in-game? To be completely honest, unless you're super lucky, the chances are you're going to run to about 50 different teams. So when you go into scrim games, just think realistically, am I going to be able to do this rotate in-game without dying or running into 50 different teams? If the chances are no, then start taking scrims as if they're actual tournament, especially if you're in no zone rule scrims. Don't rotate through POIs because they do two things. One, they set you up in positions you're most likely not going to get into in-game, meaning when you're in a tournament, you're in complete different positions to what you've been practicing. And two, you're getting unrealistic loot. Let's be honest, if you went through 3 to 4 different POIs, realistically, you're probably going to get crazy loot, like a gold shotgun, gold AR, max chugs, max bigs, pads, absolutely everything. Some absolute god loadout like that, which in the tournament, you may get super lucky and have once, but it's just super unrealistic. Let's be honest, most of the time, your loot is going to be sort of average blue, maybe green, sometimes a few games. And you may have 1 or 2 games where you actually get like a purple or gold shotgun, but it's just super unrealistic. To help you make your practice as realistic as possible, putting you in actual positions that you'd be in game, make sure you follow the same rotates that you're going to actually follow in a tournament. That way you'll have realistic loot as well as be in actual positions you'll be in when you're in game. Moving on to another reason why you're playing them wrong. When I used to host in No Rayleigh scrims, I used to get pro players DM me for code. And there was one tier 1 pro who stuck out to me, and this is the FNCS Invitational winner, Setty. He used to always grind scrims, and when I used to message him, he used to tell me he was setting himself a challenge. I used to ask him each game what challenge he was setting himself for this game, so even though the scrims were somewhat easy for him, and he actually did win most of the games, as expected being a tier 1 pro, he used to grind them, but he set himself challenges. An example would be, he used to go into endgame with super scuffed mats or really bad loot. This way, he was forced to be able to play endgame with bad weapons or look for an early refresh. So just in case this ever happened in a tournament where he goes into endgame with 500 mats or something total, he's practiced it before and is used to getting those early refreshes. And this is what makes Setty one of the best endgame players in the world. Be honest, I know we can all think of a time in a tournament where we needed an early refresh. Maybe you've been running around trying to pop that reboot all game and finally get off and have to split your mats and ammo with your teammate, and now you're super scuffed and you end up dying 50-50 or first moving because of it. I know 100% that has definitely happened to me. But by Setty practicing these scuff situations, it actually allows him to excel in any challenge he faces in tournaments, making him one of the best players to ever play the game. He never actually went into a scrim game without setting himself some sort of challenge. In the most recent FNCS, he actually won 4 out of the 12 games with the best pros in the world. So next time you load into a scrim game, you want to make sure you're doing your rotates. You would in game as if you're playing for the win. Going dead side, rotating early, etc. Trying to avoid players. If your zone wall customs, rather than running through tilted when in a tournament it would be the dumbest rotate you could possibly ever make, instead rotate around the dead side, go around the side of the map and do proper realistic rotates. The next way you're playing scrims wrong is by not having a channel in your own Discord server or notes page in your phone or even a piece of paper, so every time you die you can go into replays and write down into your notes somewhere and the exact reason where you died as well as the exact reason you died. Even in the time, if you know why you died, write it down, because over time you'll spot a pattern, and once this pattern emerges it will allow you to stop one of the biggest reasons why you die. If you go into a scrim game, die and don't write it down, you have literally just wasted 20 minutes of your life looting up, rotating, getting to endgame to learn absolutely nothing about your mistakes. So make sure you're actually writing down your deaths, what zone you died, as well as the reason, and eventually, I promise you, a pattern will emerge and you'll know exactly where to VOD review. Now, I'm actually going to go into a scrim game and show you guys some examples of how you should play them properly, so you can actually maximize your practice. Right, so I'm actually in game now, as you can see, in a scrim game, a noble open game, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to land sign-ups for this game, and I'm going to show you how to actually play scrims properly so we can maximize the practice. Now, the goal for this game is to try and win with scuffed loadout. So what I mean by that is I'm going to have like decent mats and stuff, but I'm going to have really bad loot. So I'm not going to allow myself to pick any guns up that are blue or higher. So I must have green loot until endgame. If I can kill someone who's got purple loot, I can take it. But if I don't kill someone with purple loot, I got to take green or lower. See if I can get some surge right off the bat. I think someone landed over here, actually. Okay, someone's in this building. Oh my days. Okay, I managed to kill him. He just hopped out of nowhere. Sadly, he does not have any loot that is blue or higher, so it looks like we can't fight anymore. So it looks like we're going to go into endgame with this loot I've got now. There's obviously an exit. Obviously, I'm allowed to take chrome splashes and stuff like that, because that's a little bit different, but I'm not gonna allow myself to take anything that's like a blue prime or like a gold prime or something. Right, so I've looted up for a bit, and now what I mean by having realistic rotates is, let's say in an actual game you start rotating to zone. As soon as the zone starts closing, then obviously I'd start rotating now, but I usually start rotating around about 3.5 minutes. So make sure you're rotating at the time that you're going to actually be rotating in a tournament. That way you're going to be getting into realistic positions, and you're also going to be avoiding players. So as you can see, it's 3.5 minutes now. I'm going to rotate. I'm not just going to rotate like straight into chonkers and then straight into cloudy. I'm going to actually do rotates that I'm going to do in game. Now for this rotate in game, I would usually come towards flutter barn and then come up to this balloon, and then I'd shoot myself towards cloudy and come all the way over to this balloon. By doing rotates that I'm actually going to do in game, I'm actually getting proper practice out of it. I'm not just doing random rotates, getting super unrealistic blue, unrealistic mats. Instead, I'm actually getting proper practice with not just my rotates, but I'm also getting practice with like the positioning and stuff I'm going to be in, because all the positions I'm going to be in from this are also positions I'm going to be in game as well. Right, so I just hit the balloon now. I'm going to go over to where I'm going to actually rotate in game. I could just white line it straight to zone and then go center, but it's not very realistic. It's not actually what I'm going to be doing in game when I'm going for the win. Then there's no point in me doing it, because I'm not getting proper practice, and it's not going to improve me as much as if I'm doing the proper rotates that I'm going to be doing in game. Right, now what I'm going to do is what I'd probably do in game is come towards this dead side of the zone now, towards Held Sanctum and that tornado there. That way, by doing this, we're just being as realistic as possible. We're getting myself into positions I'm actually going to be in, rather than being brain dead, running around and just getting myself into these super unrealistic positions I'm never going to actually be able to get into in game, and just having ridiculous loot. Like if there's a mythic gun, I can only get at one drop spot and it's literally the other side of the map. It's unrealistic for me to go over there and get that mythic gun, because the chances are I'm not going to be able to get that in an actual tournament. So practicing with it is not actually going to help me at all. Right, so as you can see, a zone has just popped up now, and I'm going to go to exactly where I would in an actual game if I was in this situation now. I would use this tornado that's right next to me to try and rotate fairly central, probably towards this island over here. As you can see, a surge warning has just popped up, and now here, this is where you kind of want to just do whatever you'd probably do in game in this situation. I'm probably gonna look for a little bit more surge, but open at smart angles, and if I see a guy getting sprayed in game, I'm gonna try and go for the focus on him. Sadly, I wasn't able to pick up that kill, but as you can see, I've come into this end game. I've actually only got like 64 AR ammo right now left, which is realistic to what I'd actually maybe have in the game. It's no point in me rotating all the way around the map, going to Rocky and then Shimmering Shrine, Held Sanctum, and then coming down to the position I'm in now, because that's going to give me an unrealistic amount of AR ammo, unrealistic loot, and the loot I've got now is the more realistic loot I'm going to be getting from my drop spot, rather than going around getting gold shotguns and stuff. Right, so zone has literally just popped again, so I'm going to try plan this rotate out. I preferably want to try and get as central as possible. I'm not too sure how easy that's going to be. I just need to make sure I pick the right time to go for the rotate though. I think I'm actually going to rotate this late when everyone else is rotating, and I can just try crow my way in. This guy know I'm here? I actually have 0 AR ammo now. Let's crow my way in. Okay, so we have a bit of a pull with the zone. I mean, to be fair, I'd have to go too far for this rotate. On my days, I've just been full beam. Okay, so I actually made a ton of mistakes in that game, as you probably saw. But this is where you now want to go into replay mode, find all those mistakes you've made, work on them, put them down your Discord server that you've made, or your note section, or wherever. Put all your mistakes into that one page, work on them on your next game. So as you can see there, one of my main mistakes was not getting enough AR ammo. So go into replay mode at that point, go through, look for all the ammo boxes that you may have missed. I also did not protect myself enough. I mean, from the back, I was probably alright, but from above and the other angles as well, I actually got beamed a little bit from them. And you can also go into rotate and look for some better rotate methods. If you took damage on a rotate, then the chances are you made some sort of mistake in a way. So have a look, see what you could have done better, and work on it. But I feel like you guys kind of get the whole idea of what I'm trying to explain here. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. If you did enjoy, a like would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe for more content just like this. And if you enjoyed this video, then you'll probably also enjoy this video on screen now.